Is now a good time to buy? I mean, with everything going on? Let's talk about it.
Hey there, and welcome. I am Shana Rivers, your Atlanta realtor, and today I'm here with Miss.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Kendra Brown from Mortgages by Candy.
Thanks for being here with me today, Miss Candy. So this is different because my Zoom video, but I'm excited to be on my videos again, basically.
Yes.
So, with all of these changes, I think that it's important that we start addressing some of the changes and better preparing our consumers, our clients for the industry changes and the shifts and the things that are happening. So, one of
Exactly.
the major questions that I am getting is it a good time for me to buy?
Of course, you and every other real estate professional, right?
Right.
That is the money making question. And the answer is simple. Yes, it is a good time to buy if you have good credit, if you saved, if you know that if you've prepared appropriately, it is a great time to buy in real estate. And our interest rates are great right now and anticipated to be very competitive and low throughout the remaining of the year. So it's a great time to buy. However, it is important to just educate yourself with some of the changes in the market. And so I don't know if we might tap into that a little bit more, but different lenders have started to take on some more conservative borrowing standards as far as minimum credit scores or minimum DTI. So it's really important to have that candid conversation with your lender. I know me specifically, I've been working with clients to increase their credit and going through, what type of moves, is it paying down a little bit more on that card, different activities that they could do to get their score up in a couple of weeks, or coming up with what that plan looks like to get them ready if their score is too low.
Right. Let me ask you a question about that. I understand that you just said you will work with clients who have lower credit scores. Do you have a minimal score that you would prefer for them to start working with you at? Because I know some lenders are like, well, if they're here, I won't work with them, or whatever the case may be. So can you?
So for me personally, I got into this business because I'm very passionate about financial literacy and just really wanting to empower people as means of getting real estate to create generational wealth. That's my whole thing. So for me at Mortgages by Candy, any willing participant, if you are committed to work on a plan with me, I will work with you. And lenders will tell you countless times, and on my team specifically, we've worked with people for a year, and that just makes it that much more meaningful. So to answer your question, if they are in the 500s, it's going to take more work, and I make sure you understand that, and I'm willing to work with you. But being in the mid 600s is where you need to be very competitive to get a home and get that pre-approval right now. So I will work with you in the 500s, but it's going to take some work, and you need to have reasonable expectations around your timeline there.
With all of I noticed that you said some things about like DTI and the changes. Can you expound on some things that you've seen personally as changes for our potential clients?
Right. Um, and so and I speak generally because every lender might be a little bit different in how conservative they will be. I know Chase got a lot of spotlight recently because they've changed their minimum score to a 700 and down payment requirement to 20%. We haven't moved that
That's like the back
conservative.
in the day.
Yes, exactly. So they're super conservative right now. But in general, you'll see lenders, the new norm is about 620, and DTI is below 50%. Another thing that is more of a topic right now, in that bracket, you're kind of barely meeting those qualifications, you're going to see more pre-approvals come with the requirement of reserves of 2 to 3 months. So those are the type of things that are becoming some of that normalcy is being. And what I mean by reserves is whatever your principal and interest payment is going to be, whatever your mortgage payment is going to be, they're going to want to see 3 times that in the bank, aside from the down payment, the closing costs that you're putting down. They're going to want to see that you have some reserves to ensure that you're going to be able to continue paying that mortgage. Another thing mortgage companies have been really on top of is verification of employment, because things have been changing every day. The unemployment numbers are going up by the droves. So we are seeing people call the day of closing and being able to verify that employment, or 24 hours before. So as a borrower, one of the things, if you're very motivated, making sure you can partner with your lender, providing them, this is my HR manager, this is the person that can verify my employment, so you can get to them quickly. Because of course, another hurdle is more people working from home, and leaving voicemails and tracking down the right person is also a little bit more challenging during this time. So that's another thing, is getting that verification of employment in a very concise and simple manner.
So some of the changes, just to reiterate, is that
Right.
Depending on the lender, your credit score, I mean, I know before it was 580 everywhere, like 580, 580. A lot of times those have shifted up, which
Right.
puts you in a better position. It's like the banks can trust you a little bit more. Also requiring more reserves if your credit score may not meet the new minimum standard.
Right.
I've had clients that were recently in a contract that we had to make dash to a whole nother lender, because that lender decided day of, we're not funding this loan, and now you have more reserves, so you do need to have more money. So I know you've heard 3.5% down. Well, while that is still true, it may be 3.5% down plus 6 months of this or 3 months of this, depending on your financial situation. So I think that this time will also give you time to really see if you're even prepared,
Right.
or if you were already on the edge, you know what I mean? And then, Candy, I also have buyers that are asking like, oh, maybe if I wait, what happened in 2008? Will I get a foreclosure? Will I, when the market crashes, am I going to get a good deal, like a 5-bedroom, 4-bath house for $100,000, And what would you tell them, just from your industry?
So I don't want to crush anyone's dream, right? So, I will let you dream, but I will say this is a much different time than in 2008. So in 2008, that crash was, it was a housing related crash. What we're dealing with right now is a pandemic that's health related. And it's something that has caused some temporary halts in normal behaviors. But once things clear up with the pandemic and people start going back to work, we're going to see a fairly quick shift in the market, going back to what we may refer to, quote unquote, normal. And we as mortgage lenders have been trying to do double duty of educating our clients and just people following us on what that means. So we've talked about, forbearance, for instance. If you are thinking about, needing some assistance, forbearance might not be the best option for you, because that might look like a lump sum payment 90 days from now. If anything, what might uptick for foreclosures is people not really understanding or having another option and getting messed up with having a lump sum payment and not able to pay it. And that might be a small increase in foreclosures. However, we're anticipating and seeing the market, once people start getting back to work, things will start going back to normal pretty quickly. And we are preparing, and why you see a lot of mortgage companies moving to those conservative standards is we're looking out for our borrowers so they can continue to pay the mortgage. So all that to say, we're not anticipating a high amount of people because we've been working on making sure our borrowers are prepared and know what they're getting into. And so that's why you see mortgage companies moving in the way that they have, to prevent people from being in situations that they're not prepared for. And so back in 2008, people could get houses by, signing a piece of paper or saying, they'll try their very best to pay for a mortgage. And those standards are long.
Those people.
Yeah. So because those times have really changed, we are not really anticipating, but we'll see what happens. I wouldn't, wait on getting a home. If if you dream of home ownership and that's something you want, I wouldn't sit on my hands waiting for that moment.
Exactly, because you never know, and to wait around to see, like that's
Yeah.
more time you're investing in somebody else's dreams and somebody else's bills and somebody else's vision. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
making some landlord happy, the
Right.
longer you decide not to invest in yourself. So I always tell my clients, if you're interested in buying and you're prepared and you're financially well and healthy,
Yeah.
buy your own house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make
That's
sure that it's
exactly right.
affordable for you off the rip, so that when you are in a situation or something like this happens, there's not a lot of pressure there, or you could do minimum to maintain, or you have a savings account where you can live for at least 6 months standard without stressing out, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And I think one thing